Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for Tvs Nightline. Now, let's moving on to the news. Due to COVID-19 cases are still high, the Movement Control Order MCO in Sarawak will be extended and with the same set of standard operating procedures. The Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee, SDMC, said the decision was reached following a meeting chaired by Dato' Amar Douglas Ugahmbas. The state continues to record triple-digit COVID-19 cases daily and is often among the top 3 states nationwide. It recorded 513 new COVID-19 cases, along with 3 fatalities today. This brings the cumulative number at 63,824, while the death toll rose to 404. Cebu topped the list with 89 cases, followed by Telangusan with 70 and Bintulu with 68. Meanwhile, there are 384 patients recovered from the infections. SDMC also informed that 10,644 patients were warded and under medical supervision at various hospitals and PKRCs statewide. At the same time, the State Health Department declared one cluster has ended, dubbed the Stunggang cluster in Lundu, where no infections reported in the past 28 days. There are now 93 active clusters, where 16 of it recorded an additional 132 new infections. 2 districts had changed their status, namely Kabong districts from red to orange and Dalat districts from orange to yellow. Now, phase 1 of the movement control under the National Recovery Plan (PPN), which is scheduled to end tomorrow, will be extended. The first phase will continue until the threshold value for COVID-19 cases is less than 4,000 a day.
Commenting further, he said the country is still in the first phase of PPN, and this will continue until the threshold value of below 4,000 cases is reached. Cases in the intensive care unit have dropped from the critical level, and vaccinations have increased. MUHYIDDIN added that phase 1 was to test the country's resilience so that it could go through all the PPN phases smoothly. On June 15, MUHYIDDIN announced the PPN with 4 phases that will transition in stages. To enable the transition to phase 2, the average daily cases of COVID-19 should drop below 4,000. The public health system should be out of the critical stage, including the rate of bed use in ICUs returning to moderate levels, and 10% of the population should have received 2 doses of vaccine injections. Meanwhile, for phase 3, it will be implemented when the average daily cases of COVID-19 drop to below 2,000, whereby the threshold is expected to be reached as early as the end of August. The transition to phase 4 is expected to be achieved as early as the end of October 2021. On the spread of COVID-19 infections in Selangor, MUHYIDDIN said the government was paying special attention to the state as the daily number of cases was above 2,000. He said the enhanced movement control order EMCO imposed in any area in the state would be enforced more strictly.
Meanwhile, MUHYIDDIN said a more comprehensive form of assistance for various groups in the country who are affected by phase 1 of the recovery plan will be announced either tomorrow or on Tuesday.
The Prime Minister will announce the details of the assistance, including for small and medium enterprises. Additionally, the government will ensure that the 12 million people or households in the country who are affected are given appropriate assistance and support to cope with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
SARAWAK will expedite its vaccination process in an effort to achieve herd immunity by the end of August. The program will involve over 97,000 eligible SARAWAK residents. Of that total, 46% or 44,146 had received their first dose, while another 14% had completed both doses.
Jadi kita mensasarkan by end of July, kumpulan ini akan disuntik sekurang-kurangnya dos 1 because by August kita target dos yang dah mendapat suntikan pertama akan disuntik dengan dos 2 lah. Bermakna target kita by end of August memang selesai semualah.
There are 11 vaccination centres PPV, which includes SARAWAK Hospital and rural health clinics. Meanwhile, there are 12 PPVs under the outreach program, which received an overwhelming response from the local communities. For this week alone, Felicia said 900 individuals had received their vaccination in Sulalang Community Town Hall. Therefore, she said her team are committed to this vaccination effort for the rural and remote areas and that no one will be left out.
Kita mensasarkan di SK Jambu Julau, di mana lebih kurang 9 buah rumah panjang yang akan disuntik dalam 900 lebih penduduk lah. Dan untuk rumah Naing, Merupi yang ini sangat jauh, ada 6 buah rumah panjang yang akan pergi ke pusat PBB tersebut yang akan disuntik. Dan di SK Nangaju Julau mensasarkan 5 buah rumah panjang 600 yang akan disuntik. Jadi untuk luar bandar setakat ini adalah Sinovac sebab senang untuk dibawa, sebab tak memerlukan fridge yang begitu sejuk macam Pfizer lah.
Now, the use of CanSino vaccine is very important to ensure that rural communities are able to get their vaccine injections. This is because CanSino is the only single-dose vaccine that can accelerate the vaccination program.
Kalau kita nak gunakan vaksin yang seperti yang kita pakai sekarang, suntikan 2 kali, first dose, after that 3 minggu lepas itu second dose, saya khawatir kalau kita selepas kita beri suntikan pertama, sebab mobility penduduk kita di luar ini cari makan, mungkin untuk tarik janji second dose tu mungkin mereka terlupa ke ataupun tidak ada di tempat-tempat mereka. Jadi kalau kita gunakan vaksin yang 1 kali dos saja, itu akan dapat menyelesaikan isu-isu yang sebeginilah.
According to Dennis, the vaccine is expected to arrive next July. He hopes that there will be no issue in regards to the delivery of the vaccine supplies to remote areas. So far, the number of Penan communities registered for the vaccination is very low as most of them received the vaccine via walked-in. Therefore, he hopes that with the efforts brought by the Sarawak government, it will encourage rural residents to register for the vaccine. Now, oftentimes we heard or read articles which states that former COVID-19 patients can only receive COVID-19 vaccine jab 3 months after being free of the virus. However, according to medical officer Dr. Gerald Sim Lai Meng, these former patients can actually be vaccinated 2 weeks after being free of COVID-19.
Naturally, after an infection, they will develop natural antibodies, which is we call passive antibodies towards this COVID vaccination. However, we now recommend to inject 2 weeks after the COVID infection, is because due to mutation in this COVID, which we call as variant. So we encourage earlier vaccination.
Dr. Gerald also advised the public not to be afraid of the vaccine, as the fear of being infected by the virus should be greater.
The COVID-19 patients, they should get vaccinated because we are not sure how long they are protected from getting sick again after recovering from COVID-19.
Sebab ni aku tak nak kacak. Sebab dia kacak. Betul. Nak Elia makeover anda? Boleh. Elia dan tim akan makeover anda. Jadi jangan lupa saksikan Hias di Astro 122 dan My Preview. Tim? Elia belum lagi makeover.
Legenda pejuang seni muzik Sarawak. Di manakah mereka? Pernah kita orang terfikir apa perjuangan si Datuk dalam industri muzik kita? Kami Yumis Riani bersama kita merentas legasi seni yang semakin kurang mendapat perhatian. Karya muzik anak Sarawak terus kekal menjadi legasi seni.
Sorry sayang, lambat. mengisahkan seorang gadis yang mengalami koma selama 20 tahun. Pelbagai perubahan hidup yang harus dihadapinya. Mampukah Syahira menyesuaikan diri dan memulakan kehidupan yang baru? Jom saksikan drama bersiri Instagram setiap Rabu dan Khamis jam 8.30 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122.
我们都是一中生。
我是华校生第10集，6月28号星期一早上9点30分 ，Astro 频道122以及 My TV 准时收看。
Welcome back. Tessie Peng Special, also known as 3-layer milk tea, is an iced concoction made from black tea, palm sugar syrup and evaporated milk, originated from Kuching, Sarawak, which differs from the common Tessie Peng available throughout Malaysia due to its use of a denser Sarawak special palm sugar syrup called gula apong, which forms 3 aesthetic and distinct layers of individual ingredients, hence the name Special. The drink is said to be created in the food court at 7 Mile Bazaar in Kota Sentosa, has since gained huge popularity all over Sarawak. Now it is even marketed and exported nationwide thanks Sarawak's very own local entrepreneur. Liv's food industry Sdn Bhd was established first in a humble home kitchen in 1998, serving Pat Po cooling herbal tea, which delivered and served in glass bottles to their customers. One of the company mainstays is its iconic beverage, the Tessie Peng Special Syrup, invented in 2004.
This one need to rewind until 17 years back ago. And that time I'm studying secondary school time. Me and my brothers, we went to a coffee shops at 7 Mile, Kuching, and we tried this famous Tessie Peng. And it's like added some gula apong into this Tessie, the milk tea, and we tapao 1 bag home for my mothers to try. And my mother tries and she liked it also. So we discussed we should come up with this special syrup, which can mix into coffee or tea to make it more delicious. So my mother worked very hard and do this research and development. I think a few weeks later, she really come up with this special syrup, so-called the Tessie Special Syrup.
According to Alan, when the pandemic first hit the country, sales and distribution plunged due to restriction movement. As many inspiring entrepreneurial journey that sparks innovation from desperation, the company formulated a ready-to-drink of the iconic beverage, combining all the elements in a can and launched it in 2020.
Not allowed to operate business during the first 2 months. And after that, they only allowed tapao, cannot dine in. So the sales definitely will drop a bit. So, but during that period of time, actually we have more free times and we focus more of our energy and time to
Research,
accelerate.
yeah.
To do this research and development on this canned drink. Yeah.
Alan added they maintain its status to produce a healthy and non-preservatives beverage. The only thing that they preserve is its original taste of Sarawak's 3-layer milk tea and sharing the local favorite to the world. Now, prior to what it is now, the business started operating 24 years ago in a humble home kitchen ran by Alan's mother, Josephine. Even in those days, the family-run business was already a well-known to community. Josephine, who is now the co-founder of the company and still actively involved in the company research and development. This is the story of Liv's food industry's Sdn Bhd. The journey was inspired from a motherly take in providing her children with the best. Josephine saw that her 3 kids loves carbonated drink, which is unhealthy, therefore decided to make a herbal tea, which was distasteful to Alan and his siblings.
We just test it and with a sip, then we just leave it there for my fathers to finish it off. Because the taste is a bit bitter don't like it. We don't like it. So my mom, so she tried to cook with other recipe. And finally, she came up with this very good taste herbal tea drink for all of us. And we really like it. And in the meantime, while she cooked these herbal teas, my neighbors, they started to smell this herbal
the aroma.
tea. Yes. And they started to ask my mother whether is it for sale.
And that is where it began, the thought of selling healthy herbal tea drinks to generate more income for her family.
So my mother's daytime started to cook this. In daytime, started to cook this herbal tea, and in the afternoon time, she will sell to the nearby coffee shops. Of course, in this journey is not easy. The very beginning journey, we have faced a lot of complaints, and also these rejections from the coffee shop owners. Some owner even said that wait until people started to order, then they will order. And some will say, wait until you are big like other corporate brands, and they will start to order.
Alan recalled how excited of his mother when she sold one bottle of the herbal tea. Now, the company bring great tea flavors to everyone with over 3,000 sales center at East Malaysia, Sabah, Brunei, and Singapore. All beverage products are manufactured using the best hand-picked quality raw materials in order to maintain the natural flavor and taste. With this inspiring story in TVS' very own program, Brand Pulse, be a testimony for all entrepreneurs that always believe and improve whatever business you start. If you miss out the interview of Alan Chai's stories, watch it on YouTube 12 p.m. on June 28 at TVS Brand Pulse. A Facebook user named Iqbali Smile was slapped with a fine by the Kuching IPD Investigation Division and Traffic Enforcement. Kuching District Police Chief ACP Ashman Baja said the summon was issued after investigators pinpointed the locations of the 55 seconds video which was recorded at a residential area in Cendrawasih, Putrajaya. In the video, the suspect was shown violating the standard operating procedures of the movement control order. The parody video was said to have been recorded in April, but was uploaded to Facebook on June 24th at 7 p.m. Acting on information, the suspect was successfully identified through the motorcycle's plate number. The suspect was instructed to turn himself in together with the motorcycle and outfit that was used in the video. Additionally, an investigation has also been opened under Section 17(1) Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Measures within Infected Local Areas 2021. The case is still under investigation and will be referred to the Attorney General's office for further instructions. Now, still in the crime news, one female suspect was among 11 individuals arrested by the police in Julau district for participating in illegal cockfights on Saturday. The 11 suspects nabbed during the raid include 7 Iban male suspects, 2 Chinese male suspects, and 1 Malay male and female suspect.
According to Julau District Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Andam Sulin Brayun, all the suspects are aged between 36 and 72 years old. The police also confiscated 10 live and dead cockerels and other gambling paraphernalia related to the cockfighting.
Kesemua tangkapan ini telah dibawa ke IPT Julau dan telah di-compound sebanyak 1,500 siap seorang kerana telah melanggar Peraturan 17.1 Peraturan Pencegahan dan Pengawalan Penyakit Berjangkit langkah-langkah di dalam kawasan jangkitan nombor 3/2021 iaitu melanggar SOP PKP.
The case is being investigated under Section 3(1) of the Cruelty to Animals Prevention Ordinance 1963. He also reminded the public to adhere with the standard operating procedures during the movement control order period to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 outbreak within the community.
And here's a quick sports update. According to Malaysia Swimming MS, former world diving champion Cheong Jun Hong has regained her ticket to the Tokyo Olympics next month after a dramatic U-turn by the International Swimming Federation, FINA.
MS Secretary General Mi Chan said FINA and the International Olympic Committee (IOC) had reversed their decision and included the top 18 divers in the women's 10-meter individual platform in the 2021 FINA Diving World Cup for the Olympics. Mi said this news was received via email from FINA yesterday. Meanwhile, Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Sri Rizal Merican Naina Merican welcomed this positive turn of events. Jun Hong, 31, will now join 4 other national women divers who had qualified earlier for the Olympics, namely Pandelela Rinong, 10-meter individual platform and 10-meter synchronized platform, Nur Dabita Sabri, 3-meter individual springboard, Wendy Ng Yan Yi, 3-meter individual springboard, and Leong Mun Yi for 10-meter synchronized platform. In the 2021 World Cup, Jung Hong finished last in the women's 10-meter individual platform semi-final, but still emerged among the top 18 divers in the championship to qualify for the Olympics, before FINA decided to allow only the top 15 divers to go to Tokyo.
Aku Priscilla John.
Aku Studawi.
Anak ingat bila ingat kami duai bak program Panggal Kitai.
Nanti hari Minggu pukul 3 lemai bak TVS Channel 122 Esro ngau My Preview. Beranau Seraya berperindang.
Hai, apa pola ya? Jangan lupa janji temu kita bersama dengan Osha, okey? Setiap hari Isnin, ingat okey, pukul 1.15 petang, saksikan Osha dan penggiat-penggiat seni kreatif tanah air kita di TVS saluran Astro 122 dan juga My TV. Jumpa anda di sana.
Hai semua, kami Brian Nissan Lomas. Sebelah kami tu ialah Abdul Rahman Lee, atlet lempar cakra.
Yang paling agak sukar untuk kami ialah untuk kami cuba qualify ke Asian Games tahun depan. Sebab qualifying mark untuk Asian Games ni agak tinggi, tapi mustahil lah mun kami mau cuba kan.
Jom terbang ke dak kenyala.
Legenda pejuang seni muzik Sarawak. Di manakah mereka? Pernah kita orang terfikir apa perjuangan si Datuk dalam industri muzik kita? Kami Yumis Riani bersama kita merentas legasi seni yang semakin kurang mendapat perhatian. Karya muzik anak Sarawak terus kekal menjadi legasi seni.
And now we're back with more world updates. Ice bath therapy is not only to cool down during the summer heat, but also the practice helps boost immunity, release anxiety and stress, and help with muscle recovery. Weathering such extreme discomfort is an attempt to boost the body's immunity and connect with an inner strength. As the morning sun bakes the orange dunes of the UAE desert, a man lowers himself into a chattering tub of ice. Marwan Abdelaziz said at the beginning it's a bit scary. You want to get out, you can control your breathing. Abdelaziz entered the bath with a grimace but held his breath calmly as directed by his coach. Cold water immersion and breathing techniques have been made popular by Wim Hof, a Dutch cold water enthusiast who holds several world records for cold exposure. Hof has developed his own methodology with similarities to ancient Tibetan Buddhist breathing techniques comprising breathing, cold exposure and commitment. All young, athlete or non-athlete, the techniques are good for everyone. Looking out over the rocky outcrops of the desert, participants agreed the beginning was the hardest part, but then the benefits come. And here's an interesting one. For some dedicated petrol heads, the long wait is finally over, as this weekend marked the start of the British Lawn Mower Racing Championship after the pandemic wiped out the last 18 months. The British Championship is a hard-fought battle that takes place on various weekends from June to October. For some dedicated petrol heads, the wait was finally over as the British Lawn Mower Racing Championship got underway. For obvious safety reasons, all the cutting blades are removed from their racing mowers. The cutting-edge sport took place on a large grassy racetrack in the village of Billinghurst in West Sussex. There are 4 race categories depending on the type of lawn mower, ranging from roller-driven mowers with seats to wheel-driven varieties. There are various classes of racing. Group 2 look like a traditional lawn mower with a seat attached. Group 3 mowers are smaller and look like buggies, while Group 4 are lawn tractors. Group 2 was won by Graham Tibbenham, while Group 3 saw Stuart Johnson take the points. In Group 4, Gary Botting was victorious. Now, Britain's Health Minister Matt Hancock has resigned on Saturday after he was caught breaking COVID-19 social rules by kissing his colleague. The affair had sparked public outrage as the country is still battling a rise in COVID-19 cases.
The 42-year-old wrote to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to resign after the Sun newspaper published photos of the minister embracing a woman he had appointed to scrutinize the performance of his department. The Sun showed Hancock kissing the aide in his office last month at a time when it was against the rules for people to have close physical contact with a person outside their household. Hancock has been at the center of the government's fight against the pandemic, routinely appearing on the television and radio to tell people to follow the strict rules to contain the virus. British former Finance Minister Sajid Javid will replace Matt Hancock as the country's health minister, Prime Minister Boris Johnson's office said on Saturday.
And finally, 16 vessels moored at the Hong Kong marina were caught in an early morning blaze on Sunday. In the video footage, a massive fire was seen raging with thick black smoke clouding the sky. An explosion was heard as the fire was ongoing at the Aberdeen South Typhoon Shelter. The blaze started at 2:34 a.m. local time, and the AHK Fire Department said it had to send in several teams of firefighters, including 11 fireboat monitors and 8 water jets. The fire was successfully extinguished at 8:40 a.m. local time. One person has been sent to the hospital for treatment. Well, that's conclude for the Nightline. Well, remember, if you haven't registered for the vaccination, do register now for My Sejahtera. If not now, when? Ruben Gomez, anytime, anywhere.